What's up? Noah Kane here to talk about some SEO tips and tactics. Today, we are going to talk about how to optimize blog posts and articles using Surfer SEO. Uh, Make sure to hit the like button and subscribe for more content after you watch this video. I try to upload once a week. That being said, let's hop on in to Surfer SEO. So here I am, I'm logged in, and when you are starting to work on a blog post and you want to optimize it in Surfer, you have two main options. So the content editor is what you want to use for when you are making a brand new post. Okay, so as you can see here, I recently wrote a post on e-commerce SEO audits, and what you want to do is, well, let's go back here, and I'll actually just redo this one. So let's do, see me start from scratch, not from finished product. So e-commerce SEO audits. The cool thing is you can actually add more than one keyword in here. So if you had a primary keyword and a secondary keyword, you can add multiple keywords in there if you're unsure of which one you want to rank for. If there's two closely related keywords or two topics that you want to combine into one post, you can put more than one keyword in if you want. I tend to try to do just one. So let's create a new content editor. We already have one here. I already wrote that post, but I'm going to walk you through what I like to do when writing a new post. So we're going to let this do its thing. Just takes a few seconds for it to gather its data. All right. We'll be loaded up here in just a second. Sometimes it takes longer than others, so we'll just give it a second here. It's a good time to have a cup of coffee, just relax for a bit. Taking a little longer than usual today, but we'll just be patient. All right, there we go. So we can hop on into our content editor. So this is the process you want to use for a brand new post. It'll pop in the keyword you put in as the H1 tag here. But the place you want to start with is this customize option here. And this is where you can choose which competitors you want to sort of use to write against, basically, or write towards. And Surfer has chosen the ones that they feel are the ones that you're competing the most against. It's pulled in the top, 10 pages. You can load more if you want. And what I like to do is, they basically use the content score, which is their metric, and the authority score, which might be theirs or it could be coming from, Moz or Ahrefs. And then we also have the word count here. So what I like to do, though, is I do like to review this, just because sometimes they pick pages that aren't really actually as close to the topic as they should be, even though they're ranking, or they might exclude pages that are relevant and ranking well. So like, for example, WebFX here has a page called your e-commerce SEO checklist. And if I open this up, looks like they have a pretty thorough post on the topic. And, they're saying the reason why they left it out is these other pages have better content scores, but this page is ranking. So I'm actually going to include this. And I'm going to include the top 4 here. Now, this one only has 80 words. This is where, it's ranking 5, but I'm probably not going to get much value from this, although it appears to have more than 80 words. That's probably a crawling issue with them. But because of that, these are the little things, right? You have to remember Surfer SEO is a tool, right? So you need to use the tool and don't let the tool use you. So for whatever reason, Surfer's having trouble crawling this page. We'll leave that out, even though it does have some content on there. And again, these 3 right here, if you're comparing what's actually helping things rank, these first 4 have a few thousand words. They're optimized pretty well. these next three, while they're ranking well, don't have as many words and, just aren't as well put together. So with that being said, I think it is worthwhile for us we'll pick the top four here, turn those on, and then the next piece that looks to be appropriate is this one right here. So we'll turn those on. Those are now our competitors. Then move down to content structure. It's going to tell you how many words, headings, paragraphs, and images to use. Moving further down to terms. So it pulls in different keyword phrases and terms that are used in the competitor posts that basically give you ideas as to what you might want to include in the language in your blog post or your page. They break these down into included terms, NLP, which is natural language processing. I try not to fuss about these too much. What I do is I quickly scan these, and if I see some phrases or things that aren't going to be helpful, I just uncheck them. But for the most part, they do a pretty good job of pulling in stuff that is relevant. I think search bar, I don't need to worry about that. Maybe, yeah, so I just look around. Most of these look to be pretty relevant. Sometimes there's, keywords here that are not checked yet. You can always go in and just choose to include those. But for the sake of speed today, I'm going to just move on. So then we have topics and questions. So these automatically check off the people also ask questions, which are the questions that show up in Google. So let's just pull our keyword here and go to Google. You may have noticed these before when you're searching on Google. So people also ask, they're right here. There's a few questions that pop up. So Surfer pulls these in automatically. Always review these. Don't just leave them checked. More or less, because sometimes these questions literally don't make any sense. So you just want to review if they make sense or not. They'll have these checked, off the bat. And then they have stuff from your competitors. These are mostly headlines and things like that. And this can be a great way to build out your outline or come up or look for other ideas of things that you want to include in your blog piece or page. So why does SEO matter for e-commerce? That might be a thing you want to talk about, right? So I can check that on how to do, right? So you might just get other ideas in here of what to include in your brief. Why it's important to regularly audit your e-commerce website. So you can go through. I'm not going to take all the time in the world here, but you might find cool headlines or things to address in your post by looking at these. Then we have our notes section. What me and my team do for the notes section is we have our own brief documents, our content brief documents. And so we fill that out, and then we actually copy and paste those notes over here. If you create an outline for yourself, it might be good to post it here. I'm going to grab some random text so you can see where this stuff shows up. So let's just generate some fake copy here, and I'm going to copy it. It looks like I haven't been to Lower Maps in a while. It looks like they updated their interface a bit. Looks pretty nice. So let's just paste this copy here. And again, reminder, this is, this is dummy copy for just notes. So I'll pop that in. So you can do that. Surfer's going to save its stuff. And that's all the stuff you can change in the settings. So we go, let's go. And we're good to go. Now just walking through the guidelines here. So, excuse me. The content score basically gives you a score based on how well you've optimized the post so far. It's good to try to get into this green range. I wouldn't worry about going all the way to 100, but obviously the higher you go, theoretically, the better. Again, earlier I said, use the tool, don't let the tool use you. I find that getting to the green usually is good enough. And then once you write the post and you get into the green, doing internal linking and backlinks will be the other stuff that's going to take you higher up on the search engines. Content structure. So it's telling you, how many words we have so far, which is only 3, right? How many headings, paragraphs, images. What I like to do is I don't like the process of adding images into Surfer necessarily. So I like to just write the content and get my score into the green just from the content. And then my team, when we go to upload the blog post or page onto the website or to our website or a client's website, we'll add images in then, and those images are going to help, benefit how the page ranks as well, because images can be helpful with alt image text, etc. Um, moving down further, so you can see e-commerce SEO audits has 1 out of 1 here, which means we've used this term once, and it actually highlighted for us over there that in green, showing us where we've used it. As we go along and start writing and use different words and phrases, these are going to change color. When we've started to use a few, it's going to turn yellow, and as we get into the optimal zone, it'll turn green. My process, how I like to write, I like to just write the post and then go back and see if you're going to naturally use a lot of these phrases if you're writing on the topic correctly, and then go back and see, all right, maybe I could tweak this phrase here, or I could find a spot to use this phrase. But you want to avoid using any sort of unnatural language, right, or stuffing keywords in. So just do it as naturally as you can, and you should be able to get your score into the green. One other cool thing too is you can click on these words and it'll show you examples of how the keyword phrase was used in the competitor blog posts, which is pretty cool. So if you're wondering like, oh, how should I use this word? Or if you're less familiar with the topic, you can learn a little bit more about the topic just by using Surfer. So that's a pretty sweet tool. Your heading ideas, we checked, those are there. You can, I usually just come with my own ones. And then NLP, those phrases are there. I like to just keep this set to all and just go through, the process that way. You can also, if you have a lot, there's 75 words here. So if you want to filter by e-commerce, you can do that. Filter by SEO, you can do that. So that's that there. Then you have the outline. So we have our topics and questions, which we checked off in the settings section. Those get pulled in here. It tells you what it's generated already. And it pulls in some stuff from the competition as well. So there's just some ammo for you. My process is we build out our own outline. And like I said, we put it into the notes, which notes show up here. And this is the dummy copy I pulled in. So we like to do our own outline process, our own brief process, and put it into the notes. So it's right here for us to write with. And you can expand that section if you want. It also shows the competitors here. So you can open up these links and look at what the competition has done. So really helpful for that. So that's pretty much what you want to do. You just start writing. Your content score is going to improve and change as you write. And then just do your best to include the phrases in a meaningful but impactful way with the frequency that is recommended. And again, I'm probably not going to use e-commerce SEO audit 15 times, like even though it's saying 15 to 37, probably not going to do that just because it would most likely be a little unnatural. But more importantly, important to hit our word count, get a lot of headings in there, and do that process. So that is how you can use Surfer to optimize brand new blog posts and product pages, service pages, whatever it is. Now onto the second way to do this. So you saw earlier, I actually already wrote a post on e-commerce SEO audits. So I did that, I think, last week. There's also an audit tool. So if you already have a post or page that that you've already written and you want to optimize some more, or you want to come back and see if there's opportunities for you to improve the post, you can use the audit tool. So here, I'm just going to go to my website and go to the blog. And we're going to go to my e-commerce SEO audits blog posts that I wrote last week. And again, I believe this instantly kind of got to, I think, 19th on Google for e-commerce SEO audit checklist or one of those keyword variants, which is pretty cool. So I just launched it, right? I haven't built any links to this page yet. And I wrote this post in Surfer and it started ranking like right away. So it really does work to use the content tool. Now here I'm expecting, I'm going to put in the page. We want to rank for e-commerce SEO audits. And again, if you want to add more than one keyword, you can. We're going to do this one. And then you're going to create audit. So it's going to do its thing again, where it's reviewing the page, and it's going to, come back to me with some information here in a minute. And while this is loading, this can be a great tool to use, like, every few months on content, if that's part of what you're doing for yourself, for your clients. A lot of my clients, we're, creating a lot of fresh content. So those pieces we might come back to around in a year or so, 6 months to a year, and just do an audit if we need to, or if they're ranking fine, that's also fine. We're going to let this load up. And again, super important to just keep in mind that, like, it is just a tool. And I'm going to pause this time until this is ready. So just give me a second. All right, so we're back in action here. E-commerce SEO audits. This is, again, the audit tool that we're using here. So I'm going to pop in. And so cool. It's telling me from the content score, no action is required. Our score is already a 78, which is in the green. They're saying that's good. And I can share the details. And as you can see, the reason why they're saying it's good is that our score is 78. And the other pages that are ranking high, we have a better score than the first result, and equal score to the fourth one. Now the third and the 10th have a little better, but as you can see, the difference between 10 and 1, right? This has a better score, but I'm going to imagine these guys have maybe more backlinks, more authority, better internal linking, stuff like that. So from a content score perspective, Surfer is saying we did a good job optimizing this content piece, right? So we're set there. Missing common backlinks. So this will show you a few pages where these posts have links from that we don't. And again, like I mentioned earlier, I haven't built any links to this page outside of internal links. So, it's pretty clear that to jump from 54th up to page 1 here, I'm going to need some links. And it might be helpful to get those from these places or similar places to this. Internal links are good. I did do that, linked from another page on my website. So Surfer feels happy with that. And then terms to use, there are going to be recommendations here of like, hey, add more of this, add more of that. But we already have a good content score, and changing the terms is going to improve the content score. We don't need to do that right now. So I'm going to leave that be. And then word count, we did 3,200 words. The suggested range is, almost 6,000 to, I guess, somewhere 18,000 words. I don't think we need to write a post that is quite that long on this. And we already have a good content score with this many words. Same thing with the, the suggestion here for number of words in the H2 to H6s. We have 153 words. They're saying we should have a little more. Again, take these, with a grain of salt. Experiment too, right? Like, I know for me, like, we're at a good starting point with this post, and like, you can notice these are marked as warnings and not as like must-haves. So we're in a good spot. It also has stuff here with the use of the keywords, in the body, in the title, in an H1, have using the partial keywords, etc. So this is a really cool tool. Page structure also important, obviously. So yeah, but otherwise, maybe meta title description too. So it just gives you a bunch of stuff you can do, or you can choose not to do, right? And you need to use your SEO experience to understand what the best way to use this audit is, right? So in my experience with this type of result, I have a good content score. I don't have links from these places. Haven't built any links outside of internal links to this page. So what I'm going to do for myself is at some point we're going to build links here and try to get this page ranking higher. Otherwise, I'm considering this page good to go. If when I build links, it goes up but isn't quite all the way there, then maybe I'll come back and, as you saw earlier, it was recommending maybe adding a couple more thousand words to the page, right? So maybe that's an approach I take. But you just want to go step by step. Don't try to change, 20 things at once, because, you want to do kind of one thing at a time. So that way, what really is making changes. If my content score in this case was like a 50, I would focus on that, right? So that's how you want to use this tool. And so, yeah, that's all I have for today. That is how you can use Surfer SEO to optimize new or old blog posts, content, product pages, collection pages, service pages, whatever it is on your website. Fantastic tool. And that's all I have for today. Make sure to hit the like button below and subscribe. My name's Noah Kane, and I'll talk to you later. Thanks.